Okay. I'll sign one more and then you'll be good.
Welcome to the January 11th, 2021 first council meeting of 2021, and we recognize that the city of Dauphin is on Treaty 2 territory, home of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, and the Métis Nation people. Some of the resolutions are not signed, so I'll just assign as we go along. Deputy Mayor Riel is ill today, so. Be it resolved that moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Laughlin. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda be amended as follows. Delete 9A3 tax sale date. Any questions? All in favor? Motion passed. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts the regular agenda as amended. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, that of the regular council meeting of December 14th. Any errors, omissions, questions? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Laughlin. Whereas the Municipal Act 162 states each member of the council must attend a public hearing unless the member is excused by the other members from attending the hearing, is unable to attend owing to illness, or is required under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act withdraw from the hearing. Be it resolved that council excuses the following member from the January 11, 2020 public hearing, that of Deputy Mayor Riel. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council now adjourns to the public hearing as scheduled. Yeah. So what? Yeah. Okay. I know. Okay. Council will now commence to hear the representation from the applicant and any other persons who wish to make representation for this scheduled public hearing. As I read out the names of the registered participants, please indicate if you are present. And I saw the list someplace. Yeah, I saw it. Robin Sneath, are you here?
Present.
Okay.
I am here, yes, by video. And I have Jillian Sullivan here with me.
Abner Rahman, Rahman, HABIBURRAHMAN. Is he on the line or on? Alex Dimitrik. Who- Can you hear? Okay. And Sally Frickus? Is she? Okay. Alec Dimitrik is in opposition, so. And Sally Frickus is also. Anybody else willing to speak, or hearing none, will proceed. We'll now proceed with the public hearing for conditional use application 1208-375-800/CU-20-0104 for owner applicant Bauer Bird Holdings Limited, care of Robin Sneath, lot 13, plan 2955, DLTO 377 Jackson Street, to allow the construction renovations of a existing 1,100 square foot single family dwelling to be converted to a two-family dwelling in the residential single family zone to comply with City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Would the applicant like to speak in favor of the application?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Should I do that now? Yes, okay.
Yes, please.
Well, thank you for having us here today. As you know, this is a single family dwelling in a lovely residential neighborhood. We purchased this property in May of 2019. We have some roots in Dauphin. My husband's great uncle was the Sneath of Sneath Strelchuk Funeral Home. And my husband, Dr. Jason Sneath, is a dermatologist in Brandon and comes out to Dauphin a few times a year. And we've gotten to be familiar with the community. And a few years ago, probably, we got to know Steve Sobering, a prominent Dauphin resident, and he approached us because he saw some of the work that we with Sneath Projects, our construction company, had been doing in Brandon, and felt that it would be a good fit for some of the projects that he was interested in doing in Dauphin. So we're very committed to doing things to a high standard and have developed expertise in renovations, particularly of older buildings. And so Jillian Sullivan is our general manager, and she is a Red Seal carpenter. And so she has spent quite a bit of time up in Dauphin. And so we, at Steve's behest, initially started doing work up there, probably close to, well, I guess summer of 2019. And so initially, that's what brought us to Dauphin. And so initially we purchased 377 Jackson with the intention of converting it into a rental home. So I'm not sure if council had the opportunity to review the design proposal that I submitted, but in there we showed some of the other work that we've done. So Bauer Bird Holdings, I own that, and that is a property development company with small rentals across the prairies. all of them with a commitment to doing things to a very high standard to improve the neighborhood. That's something that we're firmly committed to doing everywhere that we involve ourselves, and we have developed a reputation for that and for being really good corporate citizens. And that's something that we intend to continue to uphold here. We looked at a number of houses in Dauphin and settled on Jackson because of its proximity to the hospital. So one of the things I noticed and I noted in my letter was that we do tend to attract a lot of professionals as our tenants.
Is now
so we
joining.
count many doctors, residents, nurses, accountants, lawyers as our tenants, and that would be our goal with Jackson. So our construction company, our crew has stayed there while we've been working on different projects in Dauphin, but always the long-term plan has been to convert this into a rental property to attract professionals who would be working at the hospital. And so when we purchased it, it was 2 suites. It had a basement rental suite and a main floor suite upstairs. And so our understanding was that we would be able to purchase that with the intention of renting it as such. And then as we sought permits, it became evident that we needed to do a little bit more than that. And so that's what we're here for today, is to seek council's approval, basically to make legal something that has existed for the last 60 years. So this is not something that will cause any kind of dramatic change to the neighborhood, other than probably to help to contribute to its improvement, because that's something that we are committed to improving both the interior and the exterior of the home. We don't intend to add more bedrooms than currently exist, and so this isn't something that should add more density or more traffic to the home. And if anything, it will probably decrease it after our crew moves out and residents from the hospital move in as tenants. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
It's Alec calling, Alec Dimitra calling. I can't see anything on my screen. And I just caught a glimpse or just a part of that one conversation, so I'm not quite sure whether there's a process that you can show me how to talk when I need to and shut up when I don't.
I'll ask when there's you're in opposition and clarification, and I'll ask you, Alec, to speak. Right now,
Okay,
Robin just finished. Robin Sneath just finished her presentation on the house.
Yeah, I didn't catch all of it, but I don't think that matters. I think I understand what they're doing.
Okay.
So I will probably just make.
We're just going to ask, in our process, I'm going to ask if councillors have any questions of the.
Okay.
Councillors have any questions of the applicant?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I can't actually catch the video. I thought it was going to be something like FaceTime, and so we could engage, by seeing each other. But it doesn't seem to be working for me for whatever reason here.
Does anybody, any councillors have any questions of clarification?
Is that addressed to me?
No, I'm asking the councillors.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be confusing here, Al, but I just can't visually see, so I have to pick up based on what you tell me.
Okay. Are there any questions of councillors? No? Okay, there was a written submission by you, Alex, and we want to clarify a few points in the submission, and I'll ask our councillor, our city manager, to clarify that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we did receive one written submission in opposition to this conditional use request for 377 Jackson Street. The information was circulated through to council last week, and we did review it in the office. Before we start doing any discussions on the opposing concepts or on the opposition to this, I did want to go through the concepts because there are some misinterpretations or errors that we did not want to include in this public hearing because they are not valid. So the first concept is a question: what is commercial accommodation? What does one family mean? This is not proposed to be a commercial accommodation. It's proposed to be a rental property.
Yeah, I understand.
And Mr. Dimitric, this isn't a time for you to speak. I'm just going to go through these point by point. So this is not a valid opposition to this because it is not a commercial accommodation.
Yeah, I understand that. I was just asking for clarification in terms of meanings. I'm not saying it for any other reason.
Okay, the second item was about parking, and that it did show that there was 3 parking spaces, which is what is 3 parking spaces in the plans, which are what is required by the zoning bylaw.
Yes,
The
I
third
understand.
one,
I saw that.
Mr. Dimitric, it's not your turn to talk yet. The third comment is about an increase in traffic flow, and I think Mr. Dimitric will comment about that because that is something that could be discussed. The fourth item is talks about a secondary suite. And again, this is not a secondary suite. This is an application for a 2-family dwelling. So that is not a valid opposition. And the last is talks about a home-based business. Again, this is not a home-based business. This is an application for a 2-family dwelling. So that is not something that's valid to be discussed in opposition. So I think with that, I just wanted to clarify for council that there was a 3-page written submission, but that there are many points in here that do not apply because that is not the nature of this application. Thank you.
Well, that's understandable, given that we didn't really get a lot of information in that public notice. So I can't take responsibility or feel that I shouldn't have made those comments. Just to be clear on what you're discussing there, and so that I understand what the true intent is with this applicant. And if I can say this, on face value, it looks to me like they are going to create 2 suites or 2 units in this house, one upstairs, one downstairs, and I assume that those units are going to be rented out to people outside of employees associated with the company. And if that's the case,
Mr. Dimitric, please listen to me. This is a 2-family dwelling. This is not a home-based business. They're not going to be running their construction company.
You know what? You're not listening to me either. Listen,
but you're speaking false.
I'm asking a simple question. I want to know whether this 2-family unit is going to be occupied in any way by the employees of the company as one renter.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, well, that's what I wanted to know. So effectively, so I can understand this clearly, this company is going to renovate this house, create 2 units in it, and basically move away as a company from this area?
They're not operating from there currently.
Ms. They certainly are.
Can you confirm this? I do understand that you do have employees living there currently, but your operations,
they're not employees there. They're stage,
out of that, right?
No, Sneath Projects currently rents part of the house for our carpenters from Brandon. When they come up to Dauphin to work, they rent out the house and they live in part of it, and they use the garage for storage currently. But the plan is to renovate 2 separate units, which will be rented out. Not to Sneath Projects
employees.
Yes.
Alec?
Yeah, well, I guess that's maybe partially clear to me. It's not quite clear to me. because for the last 2 years, this company has basically set up shop, and they have staging employees that come and go, together with equipment storage and all that sort of thing in the garage. And I guess I just want to be clear for myself that the house itself is going to be independently rented out as a 2-unit suite, or I guess a 2-unit single family dwelling. And the company basically is going to go away after all this work is done. That's really what I want to know. In other words, I don't expect that company to be taking one of those suites and continuing to operate in this area, because they're not working other than staging to some extent.
Well, I think these projects have clarified that once the remodeling is done, they'll be leaving the house. And just for your information, I'll ask the Sneath Projects to affirm that plan of action. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I think my
That is
apologies
correct.
Just
to
wait.
somebody.
Just wait.
That's
Listen to them. Listen to them.
That is correct. That is the plan.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that I'm being a little bit of a nuisance this way, because I didn't catch everything that you presented. I was probably at the tail end of your conversation there, so I'm basically asking, I guess, questions that could have been answered if I was reading on, on the conversation right from the outset. So my apologies to you for that. But I just wanted to reaffirm that this is not a situation where your company is going to be in any way associated with the use of that
That is correct.
property
Yes,
and building.
that's correct.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's fine. Because that really satisfies my main concern. Because as it is right now, for 2 years, we feel like we've been hostages to the company and its employees and the vehicles that are taking up what is a very, very small street, and basically we find ourselves most times looking out the window to see when we can leave our yard. We're almost feeling like we're prisoners here. So I wanted to be clear that this is not going to be something that is going to come up as a concern for us. So we want to be clear on that.
That's correct.
Are you done your presentation, Alec?
Well, I had a fairly lengthy presentation. I'm not used to speaking, by way of conference. I can't see anybody. I can hear you, and I have to just rely on your cues to know when I can speak. So I think right now I was really going to try to get some clarifications about whether there was any mix with the company and the associated use of that property. It sounds like there isn't, and in which case I have no concerns personally. I think what we're saying is that, in a way, and I'm going to say it in this sense, we're going to feel like once this is all done and completed, we're going to assume that we've got our neighborhood back in the way we've had it prior to this company coming here, except we're going to have 2 new tenants living.
That is correct.
And having parking out at the front street. That's wonderful. If that's what's going to happen, Mr. Mayor, then I have no concerns otherwise.
Okay, thank you.
Now, do you want me to stay on the phone, or is that the end of it for now? Oh, by the way, can I ask you another question, Mayor?
What's that?
Have you had any conversations with the owners next door, because they had some concerns as well? I'm just curious because I don't know whether they're there. They did say they were going to.
We have had nothing.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, are we going to get some clear understanding of what was said here?
I'm going to ask councilors if they have any questions of you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm seeing none, so and there's nobody else on the line for questions here.
Okay.
So the representation for this public hearing are now completed.
Okay.
Okay.
So I can sign off now?
Yes.
Thank you to those who joined us on this public hearing. Council will not be making a decision tonight regarding the conditional use application. We will deliberate and will carefully consider the application, and council's decision will be final and not subject to appeal.
That's
Thank-
my understanding. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time to speak to you.
Thank you. And thank you, Sneeze Projects.
Yeah,
We'll be,
signing off. Thanks. Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Okay, thank you so much for having
Thank you.
us. Are we to sign off now as well?
Yes,
Alex.
Okay,
Okay.
have a good evening. Thanks.
Thanks.
Is now
Bye.
exiting.
please. Councillor Lachlan. Second by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council now reconvenes to the regular council meeting. So we don't read this one, right? Okay. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the public hearing for conditional use application 1208-375-800/CU 20-01/04 for owner applicant Bowerbird Holdings Limited, care of Robin Sneath for Lot 13, Plan 2995 DLTO 377 Jackson, to allow for the construction renovations of a existing 1,100 square foot single family dwelling to be converted to a two-family dwelling in a residential single family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be now concluded. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. This one is apply. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Sticilo. Be it resolved that all items listed under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. First, the water accounts to be added to taxes, $188.74, 26 Fifth Avenue Northwest. Previous tenant did not pay final utility bill. As recommended by the Director of Finance and Utility Clerk. Outstanding accounts receivable to taxes, $568.63. 118 6th Avenue Northeast, weed control costs, and $607.08. 4 Kirby Avenue West, fines for derelict vehicles, derelict vehicle removal costs, fee for towing and impounding vehicle, as recommended by the Director of Finance and Tax Clerk. Filing items, the AMM, the Parkland Director's Update of December 2020, News Bulletins, December 18th and January 8th, 2021, Member Advisory, Compact COVID Impact Study, Monument Restoration Program Guidelines, the FCM Connect of December 15th, Manitoba media releases, Premier new cabinet and departments, support for support for Manitoba restaurants, premier focused immunization of personal care home residents, education remote learning support center, conservation and climate greenhouse gas emissions reductions, and the COVID-19 bulletins, municipal relations, federal safe restart funding, Lieutenant Governor, annual historical awards nominations, Mountain View School Divisions, the December 14th, 2020 digest, Prairie Mountain Health, December 2020. Health Plus Treaty 2 update of December 23rd. Community Futures newsletter of December 2020. Recycling Everywhere newsletter of December 2020. North American EV 2021 EV rally. STARS Manitoba update November 16th to the 20th, 2020. Dauphin District and Chamber of Commerce Parkland Business Connect. Multi-Material Stewardship Manitoba 2021 municipal payments. Health Aid Together Now community funding, grant intake, ADM response regarding remote learning, Henderson School, Elementary School, grade 2 letters to Mayor Dohan as recommended by the mayor and city manager. Any questions? Councillor Eilers.
I was just gonna make a comment about that EV rally. I think with the situation as it stands, I don't think that's gonna be a go with COVID. Plus, there's a lot of other challenges between Winnipeg and Thompson as well.
Yeah, it's, there's one person that's all cranked up on it.
Yeah, and I will say, Councillor Eilers, that there's still communication between the organizing group and the communities, and they're actually making headway in the US to get communities on board or municipalities on board. But it's the physical infrastructure of to get electric vehicles north of Highway 1. So we're proud to say that within a couple weeks we'll be one of those stops. But to get up to Thompson will be most likely difficult between now and this coming summer.
It's even hard just with the gasoline too, like with your other vehicles that you carry spare gas, because sometimes there is no gas at some of these gas stations as well. They're not open, so that's a real yes, and accommodations, a lot of other kind of negative things, but I really would like to see this happen. I think it's very innovative.
Councillor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for January 11, 2021 regular council meeting, that of the city manager. Go ahead, city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been about 4 weeks, I think exactly 4 weeks since we last met, and we've had some Christmas and New Year's and all those good things in the way of progress. So I will say I was on vacation for 2.5, almost 3 weeks of that time, and are just getting back into it and frankly sifting through over 350 emails that came in during that time. But I will give a couple brief updates. The first one is obviously the COVID-19 that we have been talking about every month. We have been reviewing the health orders, and there's as of the new one that happened, that it was just an extension for another 2 weeks of the previous one. That announcement was on Friday, January 8th. So there is no change to the operations of any of our facilities. However, during a meeting the previous day on the 7th, it became or it was announced that there was a the province issued an order regarding temporary suspension of local government provisions. And that came through or was effective as of December 21st. And sifting through all of those emails and including my junk box, I did not find any notification that City of Dauphin as a municipality got word of this. So I looked into it right away. And it talked about some of the changes that that the province has made to clauses in the Municipal Act, the Planning Act, the Public Schools Act, and the Winnipeg Charter. And it's basically relaxing some of the rules to help work still progress, but to be fair to both municipalities and the public. So the two acts that pertain to the City of Dauphin are the Municipal Act and the Planning Act. And so in the Municipal Act, three things in essence changed, and that was one is if a municipality has to have a by-election, there's certain criteria that have to be met, and one of them is they've added a clause that it says that the election will be held with respect to or considering public health and safety. So that's a pretty broad concept, but if the municipality and the elections officers think that it's not safe to do so at this time, that they can postpone the election. The second one is for quorum of council. Usually it is a majority of council, but right now it is slated at 3 members participating. And the third is with public hearings and other notices. There was some changes to how residents were to be notified with that or of public hearings. And then second, with the Planning Act, it talked about for variance orders and conditional use orders, they expire after a year. And what the wording says is that the expirations are suspended until April 30th, 2021. So again, that wouldn't expire. So people have more time to do the things that they needed to do to be in compliance of those. Also, with respect to notice of public hearing dates and the public hearing notices themselves, there was a bit of a change, and that an alternate service of notices. And there was a small change there. However, I was able to contact the province to confirm how the City of Dauphin provides notice to both applicants and the public. And because our newspaper is continuing to publish papers regularly, we can continue to use the same processes. So everything that we've been doing is in compliance with the Municipal Act, and then specifically with this temporary order, our processes are still in line with that. Second thing we've done a little bit of work on in the last month is Dauphin Business Park. So the RM of Dauphin and the City of Dauphin jointly own land north of the city's industrial park and west of Provincial Road 362. And we call it the Dauphin Business Park, and it was formerly known or referred to as a joint industrial park. There are currently 3 businesses operating in it, and those businesses cover about 8 acres. An approximate 111 acres was purchased by the province several years ago, and the remaining approximate 145 acres are available for purchase and development. The RM and the city have owned it for over 20 years. Within that land, there are some roads developed. Much of the land is subdivided into smaller parcels that are ready for purchase and building. Some of those parcels have water service to or near them. However, there's very little interest in the land, probably because not a lot of people know about it. Driving by, it just looks like some farmland. There's no for sale signs and no signs saying what that is. So in late 2020, when developers investors started to show some interest in Dauphin again after the slowdown due to the pandemic, administration from both municipalities started to brainstorm ideas to better market this land. So we have decided on a course of action. We're going to be approaching the Dauphin Business Park Committee for review, and then that will be there'll be recommendations to both councils. So we're excited to maybe get some interest in a different part of our community. And that concludes my report.
Okay.
Questions, Councillor Bellemare?
Yes, I was curious with your comment when you said that there were 3 businesses in the park. Would that be like MPI and OSS and Kashowski's?
So actually, there's two parts of the business park or industrial park in Dauphin.
Okay,
And so Kashowski's and MPI is on the city side,
okay,
and OSS, Purelator, and some storage units. Those are on the north side of the city line, and so that and north of that is the land that I'm talking about.
okay. Because there are lots there that also have buildings on them, and I think some of those buildings are just empty right now then.
So it's specifically, again, in this business park, there is only those 3 businesses.
Okay.
There's a residence right along 362. That's not part of the business park. And then I guess within the city limits or south of that, of the property line or the municipal border, there are some, you're right, there's some empty buildings or storage lots or things like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of councilors? As the questions, all in favor of the report? Approved. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts this information, the following corporate report for the January 11th, 2021 meeting out of the ICT manager. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Sticilo, seconded by Councillor Lachlan. Be it resolved that finance accounts having been examined by council be hereby authorized and approved as follows. Checks 27590 to 27593. It's 85 checks for $654,273.94. No voided checks, electronic payments, 4 of them for December 2020, $152,715.73. Just a few there were larger checks, went to the rec services for a new truck and Rotary Arena upgrade of $27,710.93. John's Electric, the EV charger, $73,668. Strokiewski Construction for inventory, $23,178.75. OSS, the November recycling of $18,530.94. The Mountain View School Division, the education levy of $172,161.87. Any questions? I'll call Councillor Eilers.
I just wondered, I see there's another bill from Urban Systems for $4,462, and it says active transport strategy. We've been paying how much already before this? Is this the final bill finally?
I'll have to look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of councillors? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Larkin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements before FASB for the period ending November 30th, 2020. Balance sheet and the income statement, the utility fund balance sheet and utility fund income statement. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Lachlan. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the reserve report for November 2020. Any questions? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Lachlan. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the budget variance analysis for November 2020. Any questions of it? Everything seems on track and everything's very stewarded, operation is stewarded very well. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for the January 11th, 2021 meeting, that of the animal control, rodent control reports, September to November 2020. Any questions? Councillor Eilers.
There's a category there that says beavers, coyotes, and muskrats and badgers. So there was 4. Would that be all beavers?
At this time of the year, I would expect that, yes, they might be beavers.
Yeah, because I haven't seen any badgers,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any coyotes. But the beavers are the ones that
Mm-hmm.
seem to do that. And I didn't realize that we had so many skunks either.
Yeah,
I thought we had a good control on them, but they seem to be appearing every now and then.
I think they, according to the animal control officer, they even cycle through. Some years are good, and then there's lots, and then some years they're down.
Any other questions? I'm sorry. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Larkin, seconded by Councillor Stekilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the minutes and reports of the following committee meetings: Dauphin Rec Services, December 9th, 2020, Riverside Cemetery, a regular board meeting of December 17th, 2020, Dauphin Vet Board meeting, an operating budget of December 3rd, Dauphin and District Handy Van Association financial statements of December 31st, 2020, the 2020 statistics, and bylaw number 1 that's clears up the year ends questions. And Intermountain Watershed District Conservation Standing Committee of October 21st, 2020. Any questions? Councillor Bellemare.
Yes, I had one question about the Dauphin Rec Services report. In there, they mentioned that about 80 trees were lost this year, and they expect to plant 50 to 60 trees next year. Were those trees all Dutch elm trees, or were there other trees that were dying from other reasons? And where I'm heading with this is that we've had a couple of really dry years, and I know it's hard to keep trees, especially new trees, alive when things are dry. So I was just curious about what was happening with that.
Yeah, there were in addition to the Dutch elm, but there were various reasons. I think, from what I understand, they were trees that were old, and I'm assuming that this was mainly in the park that we had. And also, I got to realize that there were some that were also storm damaged. Like we had real tremendous wind. Now I can't say for all of them, but even in our area, there was quite a few trees that were damaged with the high winds that they had to remove and take a lot of limbs off. So it's probably a combination of everything.
Okay. Yeah, and there's a lot of activity in Vermilion Park right now because it seems that they're taking out the trees that have Dutch elm disease. So I know a lot of people have been asking about that, and I've just been pointing out those orange bands that have been spray painted on their trees, those affected trees, and that they'll all be coming down. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Lachlan. Whereas in 2020, Allison Moss, Director of the Public Library Region of the Parkland Regional Library, on behalf of Dauphin Public Library and the City of Dauphin, secured a provincial building sustainable communities grant to fund upgrades to the Dauphin Public Library building, which is owned by the City of Dauphin. And whereas the province of Manitoba granted $75,000 matching funds up to a maximum project cost of $150,000 through the Building Sustainable Communities Program to complete the upgrades to the Dauphin Public Library. And whereas at their regular hearing meeting of September 14th, Council approved by Resolution 2020-453 the award of a contract for renovations, which include replacement of the windows along the east and south walls of the public library for a total cost of $70,000. And whereas Ms. Moss, after confirming with an additional project qualified for the grant funding, posted a request for quotes for the replacement of the front vestibule of the Dauphin Public Library, which closed January 6, 2021. Be it resolved, the Council accepts as information a memorandum dated January 7, 2021 from Allison Moss, Director of the Parkland Regional Library, outlining the two quotes received for the replacement of the front vestibule of the Dauphin Public Library and recommending the following contracts: Horizon Glass for a total proposal of $29,944.12 plus applicable taxes, plus Horizon Glass for an upgrade to the door of approximately $2,500 plus applicable taxes, plus Bob's Electric for lighting and heater of approximately $1,176 plus applicable taxes, plus Dauphin Decorating for non-slip flooring of $1,500 plus applicable taxes. Further be it resolved that Council accepts this information memorandum dated January 8th from the City Manager outlining the details of the Building Sustainable Communities Grant and the details of the window portion of the project and the details of the vestibule replacement portion of the project, recommending a Council approve the vestibule replacement project because of the grant funding available for the project. Further be it resolved, the council authorizes expense related to the vestibule replacement at the public regional library and public library building under the Building Sustainables Grant as recommended by the city manager up to a maximum of $40,000. Further be it resolved that the city of Dawfin's contribution towards this project, which is 40% of the total cost of the vestibule replacement, shall come out of the city civic building reserve. Any questions?
I just wanted to, I saw there was an installation of light fixtures in the new vestibule. I'm wondering, is this going to be just inside or will it be light as well on the outside of it? You don't know?
So the main intent right now is the inside, as well as there's a heater. They apparently have to put a butter knife up to turn the
Yeah.
heater on and whatnot. We have identified that there are issues outside as well, but we don't know that the scope of this project, we can get the lighting, any lighting upgrades for the outside right now.
It shows up really, you know, you look across the street, there's the credit union and then you look at the library and you can't even, like, there's not a light sort of thing. And I think it's really important because it's one of our important public buildings.
Yeah, I think that once the work gets done, we can see how it shakes out, and if there's opportunity for lighting on the exterior, we'll consider it.
And kudos to Ms. Moss for her diligence in doing this project. Looks really good.
Yeah, I will say that, you know, usually we just have one quote for one value and that's it, but she's done a lot of legwork to get the lowest quotes and to have contractors working together on this. So there's been a lot of work put into this one.
The windows on the east and south side, so north side, south side. That's a big energy conservation project because before basically single pane windows and long time coming, and the building is starting to take shape. Any other questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Stikilo. Be it resolved that pursuant to bylaw 0312, being a bylaw of the city of Dauphin to establish a tax sale contractor position, council appoints tax services to contract tax sales for the city of Dauphin. Further, be it resolved, the council appoint Donna Zincu, general manager of tax services, as tax sale contractor for the city of Dauphin for the calendar year 2021. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Whereas Section 365 of the Municipal Act states that council may in any year designate the immediate preceding year or an earlier year as the year for which properties the taxes in respect of which are in arrears for the year must be offered for the sale by auction to recover tax arrears and costs. Further be it resolved that council designates 2019 as a tax sale year for the city of Dauphin, which will recover 2018 and prior years arrears and costs. And that's an annual thing. Any questions? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Lachlan. seconded by Councillor Juba. Whereas Section 372 of the Municipal Act states that a municipality may set any terms or conditions for the sale of a property to be sold for taxes and may set a reserve bid in the amount of the tax arrears and costs in respect of the property. Further, and be it resolved that the designated 2019 tax sale year, council sets the reserve bid for each property eligible for tax sale an amount equivalent to the tax arrears and the costs of the property. Any questions? I'll call a question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Sticilo. Second by Councillor Lachlan, whereas Section 335(1) of the Municipal Assessment Act states that the council shall each year by resolution appoint a board of revision consisting of not fewer than 3 members, some or all of them may be members of council, and whereas Section 365(2) of the Municipal Act states that the council shall appoint a member of the board under subsection 1 to serve as the presiding officer of the board, and whereas Section 35(4) of the Municipal Act states that the council shall appoint a person to act as secretary of the appointed under subsection 1, be it resolved that 2021 Board of Revision shall consist of all members of the City of Dauphin, a representative of the Dauphin and District Chamber of Commerce, and a representative of Dauphin Economic Development and Tourism Board. Further be it resolved that council appoints the mayor or in his stead the deputy mayor to act as chair of the board. And further be it resolved the council appoints the deputy city manager or in her stead, the city manager to act as secretary of the board. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas each year council reviews citizens' appointments for the various committees and boards for the next term, be it resolved that council approves the citizen appointment schedule as follows. The Communities in Bloom, Mark Wesselation for 3 years, Ray Storozinski for 1 year, Anita Gabosh for 3 years, Dauphin Community Band, Candace McMillan for a 2-year reappointment, and John Bettner for 2 years reappointment. Dauphin General Hospital Foundation, Alan Dohan for 1 year. Dauphin Rec Services, Scott Carp for 2 years, Luke Love for 2 years, and Mark Hadaway for 2 years. Dauphin Public Library, Val Levens Harrison for 3 years, Jeanette Kichkowski for 2 years, Dauphin Regional Airport for Mike Seversko for 2 years, and Dauphin Regional Airport Mark Cohan for 1 year. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Sticilo. Seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts as information a letter dated November 2nd, 2020, received on January 7th, 2021 from Andy Daly, chairperson of the Crisis Prevention Task Force, outlining the organization's accomplishments to date and their objectives to expand their services into 2021, requesting financial support from the City of Dauphin in the amount of $23,500 to provide assistance with the continued rollout of their crisis prevention programs. Further, be it resolved that council forwards the funding request to the 2021 budget for deliberations. For consideration. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Lachlan. Further, be it resolved that council accepts as information the events listed below. The invitations are none. The community events, Dauphin Derailers Psycho Club annual meeting on January 13th. The coldest night of the year, 2021, and all proceeds will be going to the Habitat Humanity Build. And 3, Stay at Home Manitoba. So I think the details are in your councilors' packages. So we'll start with councilors' privileges, and we'll go with the virtual audience first. Councilor Juba.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A very short report this time around. December 14th, I attended the regular council meeting at City Hall via Microsoft Media. December 17th, I attended Riverside Cemetery board meeting. For community events, we had a couple of meetings in the community. One major meeting was the Habitat for Humanity's board meeting on the 16th of December. On the 24th, I want to thank Ryan Rollick and his family for driving around the community and stopping at both the Dauphin Personal Care Home and St. Paul's Nursing Home and supplying music and entertainment for especially the lights for the residents and for the community. It was very much appreciated, and a great thank you to Ryan for that. And well, I want to send out condolences to the Archie Field family on the passing of Archie. Archie was a longtime native of Columbus and also was a resident of the personal care home. And I just want to say my Ukrainian greeting.
Thank you, Councilor Juba. Councilor Sticilo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, December 14th, regular council meeting. December 16th, we had a Dauphin neighborhood renewal meeting. And work continues with Dauphin neighborhood renewal on finding some other ways to get engaged in the community. I have to commend the executive director and community liaison for reaching out to some of the other NRCs in the province to sort of brainstorm and to get some ideas on how we can reach out in the community a little bit more. So more information on that will be coming out soon. That's it for meetings that I attended, but I just wanted to commend the Dauphin Rec staff on their hard work and efforts over the past few weeks, as they've been busy thinking outside the box themselves and adding some activities for individuals and families to do, given the current restrictions in place. I noticed outdoor curling rinks at Vermilion Park yesterday on my walk, as well as I saw a post that they've added a sledding hill near Rotary Arena. I know they are working hard on opening the DCT rink as well, but with the mild weather, it's proving to be quite difficult for them to do that. So it's not quite ready yet, but if they are successful on opening it, I know they will be posting it on social media. And I just wanted to make note that the Dauphin and District Chamber of Commerce is hosting a lunch and learn on January 27th. This session will focus on effective tools to market your business online. And as we all know, that's critical right now for businesses to migrate to online. And this will be a good session for some tips and strategies on that. So if people are interested or know someone who is interested, they are to contact the Chamber office or sign up online. With that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Sakala. Councillor Bell.
Hello, thank you. December 15th, I assisted with the delivery of Christmas treats to the city shop in the city hall. It's like playing Santa Claus. December 17th, I had a second meeting with videographer Tanner Bennett for a Dauphin Derailleurs video that's being made to acknowledge the significant contribution that the city of Dauphin has made to the Northgate Trails Initiative. The city has donated $75,000 to the competition cycling loop for the 2020 Manitoba Summer Games, which of course is now 2024 Summer Games, and those also will be held in Dauphin. Plus, the city has a land use agreement with the Dauphin Derailleurs for a 160-acre chunk of city land on which the derailleurs have constructed many trails. For community events on January 25th, our new electric vehicle charger at City Hall will be operational, and it may get used in that rally that was mentioned earlier during council meeting. And watch for information through the Dauphin and District Chamber of Commerce, both in the Herald and on Facebook. The Chamber is compiling information on how local businesses are providing their products and services during this Code Red lockdown. Plus, they have information on financial help for local businesses, a local delivery service, and an upcoming gift card promotion. They're being very proactive in supporting our local businesses. It's a really different way of shopping and eating. It seems to take more energy on our part because we're not used to it, but it's so important to support our local businesses and restaurants during this COVID time. I want to thank our Public Works employees because, of course, our big snowfall of the season happened just before Christmas, and they managed to get that all cleared away, even though there were people on holidays and people snowed in, and they did a great job. And I also would like to extend a big thank you to our community members for doing such a great job following the public health recommendations. Our infection numbers have been quite low during the pandemic, and this is a result of the great work that each person is doing to keep our numbers low and to keep us all safe. Dauphin's a wonderful community. We've been through so much recently, but there's still many new projects and initiatives moving forward. We live in a great community. And best wishes for a wonderful year for you, your family, and your friends. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you. On December 14th, I attended the city council meeting, and also on December 17th, the cemetery board meeting. Then we had the Christmas and New Year break, and I'd also like to thank our city crew for their snow clearing efforts. It was greatly appreciated. And on a sadder note, I wanted to offer my condolences to Bob Crow's family and friends on his untimely death on December the 23rd. He was very involved with the greenhouse and community events. Also condolences to Dennis Slobodjan's family and friends on his passing on January 2nd, the 21st. He was involved with the Ukrainian Festival and Trombola Cross of Freedom for many years. Both of these gentlemen were 66 years old, much too young to leave us. And also condolences to Archie Field's family and friends on his passing. I'd like to also express my concern for all all the action that's happening in the US, and I'm hoping that they find a peaceful resolution. On that note, I'd like to wish everybody a happy and healthy new year, which is late Navadiq, and that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Eilers. Councillor Lachlan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On December the 14th, the regular council meeting here at City Hall. Not much took place for me over the holidays, but I did actually get some time to go out and explore many areas of the community, including Vermilion Park, which Councillor Stakilo touched on there, and of course the Northgate Trails. Great to see so many people out there in those areas. Of course, with the weather being the way it is right now, I encourage everyone to get out and explore our local parks, and obviously social distance where you can. As Kathy mentioned, and Patty, I do want to recognize Terry Gennick and his Public Works crew for doing that great job of clearing all the snow after the storm we had right before Christmas. Thanks, guys, for just putting in such a great effort, considering it wasn't great timing. And just heard there's a weather forecast. Sounds like you're going to get a little bit more later this week. And finally, Happy New Year this week to those who celebrate according to the Julian calendar. And of course, Happy New Year to everyone else who are in the new year as we speak. And hopefully by our next regular council meeting, we are out of code red. And that does it for my report.
Thank you, everybody. I haven't much to add on to what everybody's doing, but I think we did the service awards. I think Councillor Eilers and Councillor Bellemare were there. We visited the city shops and the RCMP and City Hall, and I can't remember all the awards that we gave, but it was a different way of presenting our service awards. We normally do it at the Christmas banquet. Since we never could have a banquet, we gave out little boxes of treats. That was good too. We had a meeting with Vermilion East on some issues on expansion, and also issues with recycling. Today I ran into Kurt Gullett of the Prairie Mountain Health, and he says right now our dialysis is the 36 positions or 36 clients that it's designed for is fully operational, and most important, it's fully staffed. And so that's a good sign for people that need dialysis. In commenting, I think I'd like to, this past week was a sort of a traumatic week in our world, and it's to be, I'd like to offer a message of be kind to each other, respect each other, and look after and help people in need. Your fellow neighbors, help them if they need help, and take their help if you need help. And it'll all be a better world for that. And respect the opinion of people. Wish 2021 safe and healthy new year, and hoped everybody flushed 2020 down the drain. Let's move forward, and we'll have a great year. And that ends the council's report, or council for January 11th, and it's recessed at 6:20.